getting stuff done, we're going to dive back into the slightly softer areas a little bit and talk about managing stress and anxiety. So we will talk specifically about situations and how to handle them. We will go into using gratitude and loving kindness toward yourself and others, and we will talk a little bit more about play and how to plan for and manage difficult situations. Welcome to Module 4, Stress and Anxiety Management. In this module, we will look more closely into stress and anxiety. This is a bit more, in the first couple of modules, we talked some about this, but it was more related to the mindset and the mindfulness side of it. This module is more into specific strategies to use. We'll start out talking about stress types and how to respond for your stress type. We'll go from there into laughing at yourself and the benefits and how to laugh at yourself and what the benefits of that are. We'll talk about random acts of gratitude and how those buffer you against stress and anxiety. We'll also talk about random acts of love and kindness, both toward yourself and others. We will finish up this module with a discussion of play. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. So your stress type, one of the most important things that you can do in decreasing your amount of stress is recognizing how you respond to stress. So there's three major ways that we respond to stress. There are go responders. If you are a go responder, you tend to get angry or agitated when you're under a lot of stress. You feel like you need to act. You can't sit still. You may feel irritable or even lash out when you're under a lot of stress. If you are a stop responder, you tend to back away from the stressor or the situation. You will withdraw into yourself, distance yourself from the situation, and actively avoid it. If you are a freeze responder, you will freeze in place and feel like you can't take any action. Key word here would be feeling paralyzed by indecision at key moments, even as your brain says, do something. So take a minute right now and think about what your stress type is. How do you respond to stress? So based on your stress type, there are ideal and not so ideal ways to respond to stress. So part of this is physiological, anatomical. There's not a whole lot that we can do about our adrenaline kicking in and causing us to feel certain things, but there are definitely ways that we can optimize our response to the stressors. So for all stress types, the key is to breathe first. The moment you recognize that you are stressed, and recognition of stress is related to those, if you're a go, stop, or a freeze, if you start learning to watch for those symptoms, if you're feeling like lashing out, if you're a go responder, or if you're feeling withdrawn, if you're a stop responder, or if you're feeling paralyzed, if you're a freeze responder, when you recognize those symptoms, the first thing that you should do, no matter what stress type you are, is take a belly breath. If you have the presence of mind, you can soften your muscles as well, but the most important thing that you can do is get a good abdominal breath in to get you started on responding in the most healthy way possible. So if you're a go responder, first thing you want to do after taking that belly breath is to pause. If you act right away, you may regret your actions later. You may do something that you didn't really want to. So you need to pause and consider that your gut may not be the best way to handle the action. The second step for go responders is to consider what action would be best, to think for a couple of seconds about how you might handle the situation, and then the third step is to act on that decision. If you're a stop responder, the sequence is a little bit different. You breathe first and then immediately pause, just like the go responders. But after that, instead of considering your actions, you need to engage. So as a stop responder, if you go with your gut, you are likely to withdraw either into yourself or physically away from the situation. And that may not be, your gut instinct may not be the best way to respond to this situation. So as soon as you finish your breath and your pause, the next step for stop responders is to engage with the situation. Consider that whatever the situation is that you are feeling stressed about, you are part of it, and you need to make a conscious decision on how to act on it. Now, withdrawing may be the best response, but some other response may be best as well. So once you engage with it and recognize that you are part of it, the next step is to act. If you are a freeze responder, you need to eliminate the pause altogether. You still need to breathe because that's the first thing that you can do to get things moving in your body and your psyche again. So you want to take that belly breath and get things moving again. But your next step, rather than to pause, is to reboot. I recommend a physical way of doing that, especially if this is new to you. So if you are a freeze responder and you are feeling frozen by stress, what you want to do is you want to pinch your cuticle. So what I mean by that is I want you to take your right hand, the thumb of your right hand, the very tip of your thumbnail, and put it on your pinky finger on your left hand. I want you to put it all the way up to the very top of your cuticle, and put your index finger underneath your pinky finger so that you have something to push against. And I want you to push into your cuticle with your thumbnail. This should be, if you're doing it right, it should be quite uncomfortable, and if you do it too hard, it can be quite painful. So you want to get to the point where you're feeling uncomfortable so that you can jolt yourself back into reality. Some people, a pinch on the skin will work better. It's kind of using that pinch me, I'm dreaming feeling. So you want to get yourself physically uncomfortable so that you can reboot your system. So once you reboot your system by doing that cuticle pinch, you want to remain mindful of that sensation as you re-engage. So you've already disengaged if you're a freeze responder. So once you reboot your system, you need to re-engage and consider that you are part of whatever stressful thing is happening, and that now that you have rebooted your system, you have the choice to act. So once you re-engage, take a couple of seconds to figure out what the best action would be and then act on it.